This is Malik Yoba, hanging with the guy you know, Nick Gallo, and a gift from Nick from the Pillow Guy. So I think Nick just became my favorite person, and hopefully he's your favorite person too.
What's up? It's Nick Gallo, the guy you know. I'm here with the one and only Malik Yoba. How are you?
I feel rude, man. We should get another. Can we get another cup for Nick? Do you drink?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, here you go. Psych. Here you go. This is for you. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. How's it feel to be back in Chicago? Because I know you come through here, every so often. Yeah.
I'm good to hear that back in Chicago accent. I heard that, Nick. I heard that. It's been a while. I haven't been to Chicago in a couple of years, actually. I realized that when I was driving from the airport. I love Chicago. I've been coming to Chicago for a long time. Yeah.
I want to first talk about, Gentleman Jack, Reel to Reel. How did you get involved and really want to be a part of something really dope, especially for Chicago? Because I feel Chicago a lot isn't shown in the best light.
Well, if you were to pan your camera over there, it says Reel to Reel with Omari Hardwick. So I'm going to be standing in front of a screen that says with Omari. I love Omari. I think Omari was busy, and so I got a call. Said, can you come? So I love Chicago. I love to see young filmmakers do their thing and meet, new talent. And see. So it's always good, man. People are working hard trying to get in this business, this crazy business. And so I think any bit of encouragement that I might be able to add or share or whatever, it's good to see that. Yeah.
I want to talk about, too, your show you did at the Apollo, Harlem to Hollywood. How was it? And, just getting out there and showing all that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's still a work in progress. I'm actually going back to the Apollo in a couple of weeks, June 16th. There'll be another version of it that goes up. But it's just an invited audience. It won't be ticketed like it was last time. Harlem to Hollywood I've been working on for now almost 15 years. So it's a long journey, but it's the book is done, meaning the script is done, but it's a cinematic theatrical experience, and so it's immersive theater. So there's a lot of work that still needs to happen to get all the visual pieces, but that's something I've been working, almost a third of my life to well, actually in some ways I've been working all my life to do it, and it's a show that it's set in it's called Harlem to Hollywood, and people think that it's just about my journey, Harlem to Hollywood, right? But it's set in a therapist's office, and I played a therapist, Gladys Felsenberg. It's another story. But I play like 15 characters, and it's set in a therapist's office. It was important to me to do it that way because we need to see ourselves work through our stuff. I think that there's a lot of folks who are afraid to know who they truly are, and so it's loosely based on my journey also with my therapist, but it's also an opportunity to just show the range of talent. Like, people think that, very few people have seen everything I've done. Most people don't realize there's been 50 films, there's been 14 series regulars and all kinds of guest stars in theater, and my music and the poetry and my writing and my comedy, and so it was an opportunity for me to tell my own story in the way I want to tell it, similar to these young filmmakers tonight, like figuring out what is it that you want to say, and then figure out the best way to say it to show you in the best light. So that's what it's about. But thank you for asking about that. Yeah.
I also want to talk about your first Korean film you had Talk Point, come out, what was it, I think beginning of this year, or the end of last year, international. I think it was here, beginning of this year. So how was it just being in a different audience and seeing it in a different light?
I've worked, in Europe and Africa and in the Caribbean, all over the United States, North America. But to work in Asia, work in Korea on a Korean production was a bit of a trip. Just because there's a lot of cultural mores that don't exist here. But I loved it. Did you see the film?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, but thank you for asking about that as well. Yeah, I like that, man. Somebody get this Jack, this dude right here, hook him up. Get him a cup. We're gonna get you a cup.
Okay.
Here you go.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You know what? I'm
Appreciate
a solution-oriented individual, so we're gonna do this like watch what happens live when you keep drinking. That's the part they leave out. Watch what happens live when you keep drinking. So here you go, Gentleman Jack. Free promo for them. Hopefully this translates into opportunities for both of us.
Yes, exactly. I pray. Thank you. Cheers. But you know, you've done so much in a long time. You know, you've done a lot since me growing up and being an adult and just seeing your progression. About to be 32.
So I started making movies when you were 2.
Yeah, so I've seen the progression, and I've always seen you out there hustling, always, you know, getting to the work, on the grind, because it ain't peaches and cream like everyone thinks Hollywood is. So what has been one of your favorite roles that just really sticks out to you and you're just happy you really did it? Because, you know, some people regret roles after or vice versa.
I think the role that I'm most excited about is me as a real estate developer.
Okay.
You weren't expecting that, I know. But I'm working on a project right now called I Build New York, which is a docu-series on my journey into development. And for me, it's still storytelling. You know, as a storyteller and as a writer, as a director, as a producer, you know, it's about finding stories that haven't been told, or if they have been told, finding a new way to tell them. And I think the story of how we got to where we are as people of color living in the communities we live in, our lack of ownership, our lack of information on how buildings and communities actually get built and what that does, and the psychology behind it, the financing behind it, the design, what it takes to, you know, see a spot and say, you know what, I'm going to build, you know, a commercial space or mixed use or, you know, whatever it might be. I'm fascinated by that process. We're in Chicago, as you just said, and I remember doing the architecture tour on the Chicago River when I was doing Empire here. And what I learned about, you know, me as a New Yorker thinking skyscrapers started in New York, but up until like 1820 something, you know, we only went to about 13 stories. It was Chicago that actually built the first, you know, skyscrapers that went beyond, you know, 13 stories. Of course, New York a few years later took it over again. But that kind of stuff is interesting to me. And so, you know, I'm working with a group of young people, teaching them about filmmaking, but also teaching them about real estate development. We're in pre-production now. I'm funded by a big developer in New York. And it's about telling my own stories again, just like Harlem to Hollywood, the way I want to tell them. As an actor in film, there hasn't really been, I don't think there's really been roles that I've played that I kind of want to take back. Nah, I think most of them, I think, I'm glad I did them. And one of them, I'm most proud of actually, I did that show God Friended Me. And I play a real estate developer. And it's one of those things where sometimes your life shows up in the work and you know that that's a sign. So I'm really glad I did that one because they're actually sending me footage from the show that I could use in my show where I can talk about how art imitates life and the power of that. Because a lot of times people don't realize how powerful storytelling is and recording the stories and when your life shows up in the work, what that means. Like when I was doing Why They Get Married, I was going through divorce. Like 4 of us on that movie were going through divorce. And that kind of thing has happened over and over and over again. And so how as the artist and as the human, you get to use both and they play against each other and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, to wrap up, just last thing. What is some advice about Hollywood? I'm moving next week. Yeah, I'm moving to Koreatown. You know, I'm going. Got to get. But how? Like, what's some a word of advice you would give someone just going out there and just going after the dream?
It takes about 5 years to find your tribe because you know it takes a while to find. I think there's something. What I was going to say, it takes a while to find your people to be connected to. And I think there's something to be said about a city where you're in your car all the time. and it doesn't give you a chance to really interact with people. I think that it's hard to make real human, genuine connections. Everyone's moving out there for something. They're generally not moving out there to help other people. People are moving out there to get something from other people. So I think that that's one. You're going to spend a lot of time in your car or Uber driving around. I think for me, just really staying connected to people who aren't in the business is important to kind of find a balance. But I'm very grateful personally at the same time too. So for Hollywood and what that means to live there. I don't do it anymore. I have to be working in LA. I live in Brooklyn. But I think chase the dream and you have a great personality. You're thoughtful. You're very thoughtful.
Well, no, to wrap up, we gotta talk. Got you gift, you had to get.
Bro, do you do this on every interview? Is this like a thing so they know? I don't know.
Yeah, I do for almost all my
I
guests.
see.
Yeah.
Look at that. So when I'm mad at my woman, I'm just gonna sleep with myself. I don't need nobody else. That's it. I love me. This is very Hollywood, man. I'm just walking around all night. I'm walking around with me. It's about me. You want some, baby? Come on, baby. Have a little drink, man. What you smiling about? You feel good.
Malik, I want to wish you all the best of luck on everything tonight and to everything in the future. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I try my best to, make sure I like an artist. I get to know him. I don't just, But yeah, it's Nick Gallo, Gallo the guy you know. Here with Malik Yoba.